Hi YouTube, this is Dr. Wanda and I'm seated with.
Isaac Agosu.
Okay, so we had some good feedback from the last
Video that
video,
we did, yeah, on
uh,
the mini library.
the launching of the installation of the mini
Yeah,
library over in Timma
Tema
Newtown
Newtown.
at Amen School. Uh, Kimberly Manessa, who is a huge support, always a lovely spirit. She's always encouraging, very thoughtful, asked a lot of questions. She did a series of um, posts to this video. And so I said to Isaac, when somebody invests that deeply and is that thoughtful, it's respectful to give a proper response. So I felt like a proper response was a video response because I feel like, Kimberly, if you're asking these questions, probably others are
I also
thinking
thinking, yeah,
similar thoughts.
yeah.
So you did all in total 7 posts. And so I want to kind of walk through, or rather, Isaac and I will walk through, covering over a lot of what you raised, which I thought was actually good food for thought. So the first thing you had talked about was, is it possible that I would consider doing some sort of online training or some sort of class of some sort where I could help talk to people about what it means to put together an NGO or what they can do with their not-for-profit if they bring that here or whatever. And so I have an answer to that. Um, I am skilled at online classes. I'm comfortable with Zoom and all of those platforms. I don't know about necessarily covering this topic in that format, but I think it's something that I'll shake some trees and talk to some other people and see if perhaps if I put together 2 or 3 people who have functioning NGOs in Africa or who have not-for-profits where they've brought that work over here and have considered it, where we can have a chat and let you guys in on it. What are your thoughts about this topic?
Yeah, I would like us to have our ONGO registered because we have a complete different vision.
Well, she's talking about the possibility of training others who may be doing a similar missions work and just want to know how to do that as a charitable organization
Organization.
here. Hmm.
Well, honestly, I am not involved or having engaged myself in any NGO in Ghana. I don't know how.
Well,
Yeah,
you found Ghana Arts.
yeah. You're from
You
Ghana.
have
At yeah,
you didn't build it
you
ground
did
up, but you've
very
been
good.
involved with
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So if you remember last time, I was telling you, let's find out how the registration is being done. Let's get deeper and know how things have been done in Ghana when it comes to NGOs.
Yeah, well, Kimberly, I haven't changed my mind on that. I'm still like completely not interested in necessarily establishing an NGO. I don't see, for me, this is me, I don't see any extra benefit that I would get. Any, because I had this charitable organization, I think it's just going to open me up to have the pressure of assembling a powerhouse team, board members, having regular meetings, being accountable for record keeping, where now I'm able to do good, impactful work. And when I have the funds, I do it. And when I don't have the funds, I don't do it. I don't find myself begging. I don't find myself uh, sitting in the company of people that I don't enjoy because I'm hoping somebody will throw me a bone. I just kind of get to move with the promptings of the Holy Spirit. And so you see, this is a split between he and I. So there's more talks to be had. But I definitely appreciated your question. And again, I will try to put something together that I think I'm comfortable with. And we'll see what comes of it. Another thing that you brought up was issues with the post office. So the way the post office works here, when you ship someone something here, the post office actually opens your packages. In the US, people ship things to you. They have an efficient system where they run it through, they scan it, but they don't actually open every single package. Ghana Post will open your package. And based off of
They will
what
open your package in your presence. Yeah,
in your
in your
presence.
presence. Yeah.
But but they also, out of your presence, hold packages. So sometimes if a person hasn't put your phone number on the package, which that needs to happen on every package, it'll just sit.
Yeah.
So when you're coming asking for your package, they don't know nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, so you definitely need your address. You definitely need a phone number, or a native's phone number where they can be contacted, and they will contact. I will give them that, they do call.
They do call.
But yeah, you paid to get your mail here, which is incomprehensible as a Westerner. Once you pay for postage, that's all you ever have to pay, and it comes right to our doorstep. Or for some people with post office boxes, you go pick it up. Here, even though you've paid for postage, even though all of that's covered, they take a percentage off of the postage that you paid, and they calculate it with the value of what you said the product was valued at,
Yeah.
and that's how they come up with a figure that you have to pay. So it's paramount anything being mailed to you needs to be valued low, because if it's valued high, you're going to end up paying more at the post office. Am I correct?
Exactly. But this is what they also advised me when I got the things, and I told them these are for a library. I mean, a library that we are donating. They were like, well, you have nothing to show that is really this is for a donation. So they me advise, get whatever you are doing registered, get a letter from the right authorities, and when your things come, we're gonna give it to you for free. So honestly, I had to negotiate with them, and they were reasonable. They did a good job on that for me.
Well, they did a good job as far as he's concerned. So what would have been $100, he got it lowered to $50.
Yeah.
So that's reasonable to him. For me, coming from the West, it's completely
because honestly,
it's completely unreasonable.
Yeah, honestly, we asked. It wasn't me alone. There was a guy in the office who also received some things from I think from Australia, but he came with a certificate that shows that, I think, baseball staff. He came with a certificate that showed that they are donations. They talked to him, and he told them, you see, these are donations, and we still have some things locked up that we don't have the money to get them out. And he said, he told the guys, like, this is the money that we need. He said, no, we've already paid for this thing. So honestly, a lot of people who go to the office don't really understand, why do I have to pay for something that have already been paid to be mailed to me?
So listen. So just think about all the hundreds of people who are in this country, or having a simple relative mail them a birthday gift, a Mother's Day gift, mail them, and they paying to pick that up. Everybody can't be an NGO to get their stuff and not be brutalized. So I get what Isaac is saying, and I'm happy for the guy that had a certificate. Where I've gotten my biggest relief from is that I found someone's who are shipping cargo through the boat. And you can get a big old container, or you can send it by boxes and share space in someone's container. And that is the most cost efficient way to send things to Ghana, okay, to most of these African nations. Using the post office is brutal. Now, sending it out is easier than getting it in, because you're not going to get penalized twice. But sometimes when you're having things sent to you, I won't lie to you, you're actually paying twice. Sometimes you almost end up paying for the same thing twice, just having it shipped to you. So that's something to consider. Books tend to be free. Your own mail, letters and things like that, they look at that, they go on, they don't bother you with that. Other things, and they do make up their own calculations. Some of it's on a sheet, but when they can't come up with it, they just kind of pull these figures, out of whatever. So that's something to consider. And I do think that's something that people, especially people who are trying to be repatriates, need to know. That post office is scandalous, okay? Facebook groups, you talked to me about the possibility of maybe organizing a group to discuss some of these topics, and I'm like the most anti-group person I know. Even though I teach and I've taught classes, and I have to teach young people how to work in groups and build teams, and I believe in partners and learning and all of that, I personally don't enjoy them. There's always someone in the group that's dragging down the group. There's always the cynic. There's always the heckler, and I just the idea of that, and I just feel like Facebook groups are just sort of, it's like a million of them, and first they start off okay, and everybody's loving with each other, and then it gets started, and so I find the energy of different spirits draining sometimes. Isaac is a little bit lighter about groups, but what's your thoughts about the possibility of us organizing a Facebook group to be able to talk to them about some of the things that we share here on YouTube?
That's a very good idea for me. But like you said, you have a different, you know, mindset on that. Or I don't know if you've had this group before and never worked for you, or the experiences over there. But I know you've joined a few Facebook
No,
groups that you
people. I
discuss
mean, I get
things.
people even as we speak. People want me in their groups. They love to send me the invites for the groups. Sometimes I even join the group. I talk once or twice. I fall off the group. I can't stand them.
I think for me the Facebook group thing is a very good idea that I think you should consider. We should consider, because there are a lot of people who are on Facebook who are not on YouTube, and you get
And
to
that's
meet
part
them.
of the reason I stretch myself out to YouTube, is that sometimes that Facebook community gets robotic. And I like sort of the randomness of YouTube. You kind of discover the channel. And if you like it, you subscribe. If you don't like it, you don't subscribe. But with Facebook, you become friends and you sort of floating along with this person. Sometimes you're friends with people that never say one word. Others are sort of silent players and very engaged and supported. They know all of the stuff, and you're playing the same role with them. I liked the different feel of YouTube, which is why I came to YouTube. And also, I wanted to kind of be able to, people were saying, you never talk, you should share. I talk to you personally. More people need to hear from you, and it gave me a space to do that as well. So, all right, so we're in the lab, Kimberly, about this Facebook group. You talked about whether or not these books can be translated or should be translated. I think that is a headache, only because Ghana, that I know of, there's at least 4 to 5 languages that you run into just in any given day, which is
Tree, the most dominated language in Ghana. I think that's the tree first. Which one do you have? The Gan?
Ga.
Yeah, because we are in the Greater Accra
That's what you
region,
speak.
so yeah, Gan, Gan language is everywhere in the Greater Accra region. Yeah.
Airway.
So we have Ewe, we have Ewe, yeah.
And then you have
Danwe or Adan, you see, which is similar to Gan. Well, this is you could easily hear this language is spoken in Greater Accra region, because you have easily, though Greater Accra region is like, it's for the guns, tree is now dominating. So even in some schools in Greater Accra region, instead of them teaching gun, they are teaching tree.
Well, that's because you allow it. That's one. And two, it's dominating on YouTube. If you are going to try to get classes, if you want to get coached, if you say, okay, I want to learn a little of a Ghanaian language before I get there, that's what shows up, right? In fact, when we were first dating, if you remember, I said to you, "May do woo," and I was saying other things. You was like, "Oh, I don't speak that." You like that? It took me a long time to learn that. Okay, and it was injurious to me, because I thought, okay, this is what they're offering
for you, yeah.
And so I'm trying to be culturally connected and get closer to you, and there's no way. They don't even give you the option. If you go into Google translations, that's what's going to show up.
Sure. Yeah, I think right now Google, they have the tree, they have the Gan, they have Hausa. Yeah, I've seen
Hausa. I haven't seen
Gan.
Ga.
Yeah, I've seen Google Gan too.
So, but you get my point, that it gets complicated.
But Kimberly, to be honest with you, English has dominated everywhere when it comes to reading, that even Ghanaians find it very difficult to even learn how to read our own our mother tongue. that one I will tell you is it's like our old mother tongue. When they give you a book to read, it's like a French to us, just like the
It's
way
French
yeah,
because they are often beaten
yeah.
out of their tongue, so they're disciplined for speaking
Ah,
their
oh,
tongue.
well, this is a different topic. Maybe we'll visit.
Still, I can plant the seed for another discussion, but I
Yeah,
just want you to understand that, like,
the,
the English books will benefit them.
mm-hmm,
They are often, bi and trilingual,
mm-hmm,
like they're speaking all these different languages, but it doesn't mean that they're literate in all of them, which is what Isaac is explaining. They don't
yeah,
necessarily read and write in those languages,
mm-hmm,
but this is a country that was colonized by the British, so that English is an important language for
yeah.
them.
So just as some people can speak English over there but can't read, the same thing here. People can speak these languages because it's their mother tongue, but they can't read it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's how it is. And so translating them into the native languages is gonna be a very very difficult task.
Which I don't think is necessarily a negative. I think it's something that ultimately, if we get us some educators that's motivated and we put the pitch
Yeah,
out
yeah.
and we are able to get some good grant money to pay them, I think
Okay.
that's something that the same way we pay any other translator, I think that we can get some people that are literate in the other tongues, their mother tongue as well as English, and that can be a goal. But in general, right now, that's way too big for us. That's way too big for us. Okay, you talked about the Goodwill. I'm like you. I love the Goodwill. I love garage sales and estate sales and all that good stuff. What I'm gonna tell you is that this country, in terms of quality of product, is low. Not because of the native African. The Africans would normally, anything that they do by hand, my personal experience with them has been beautiful, is strong, is worthy, but they are dominated by the Chinese products. The Chinese flood their markets with their products, so you would probably get more quality, have more quality if you bring Goodwill things that you absolutely adore, and then you can and send it through the boat, and you stomach the other things that's on their market because it's just a lot of Chinese influence in terms of product. And even in the U.S., anything that the Chinese make is just weak. It's just not quality. They're not known for quality of product.
Oh, okay. That has to do with
The Goodwill,
the
because
goodwill.
she has things that she would like to donate, things she'd like to bring. It's varied. Okay, the Goodwill, you can go and get something that would have cost, say, $2,000 or $3,000, $200 or $300 for pennies. Okay, because now that's a used shop. And for us, for people who got good taste, we can go in there and find all this posh stuff and decorate our homes and give people real quality stuff, which you're not going to find that here. I can tell you that now. Even if you get a good couch, it will not meet the level that you could have found in the U.S. We are full of options. This is something that Isaac is finally this year not getting so mad at me about. But he sees that I'm an options girl. I think I should have options in everything because I've been raised in the West. White people like options. These European nations prefer options.
Mhm.
I was raised under their thumb. I understand options. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Your options are lower here.
Mhm.
So whatever you want to bring, that again, pick the stuff that's just you just got to have it, and then the other stuff you can suffer through their market.
Mhm.
Yeah. What else? You talked about some of the other things that you wanted to bring. You said you have all your Bible lesson material together, which that wouldn't actually be hard for you to even find here, but you'll probably have better curriculum or exercise books and things like that. I don't know how your Christian education works for you, but what I'm gonna say is, again, anything with your curriculum, with activities, with literature that you think is just precious, bring it.
Yeah.
Because there's no guarantee that you can find it here. In the U.S., any motel or hotel you go to, they have a Bible in that motel room.
Wow.
As much sin as goes on in a motel and a hotel, they have the Bible or they'll have the book of Proverbs. There's always some sort of spiritual literature there, and it's there for free. Okay, our dollar stores all have Bibles in them. You can buy, if nothing else, you can go to the dollar store and get a Bible. So this market, as much even though this is a 70% Christian nation, that's not so true here. They don't have at their fingertips just complete access
Hmm.
to that literature. So if that's what you want to do, it won't go to waste. I can
Yeah.
tell you that it won't go to waste. It will not. But you will struggle on this end. So you talked about something I think is really important, really impactful. You talked about the possibility of teenagers being in sort of a kind of apprenticeship with a carpenter to help us with the libraries.
Yeah, apprenticeship, carpentry. Well, there are. I've seen a lot of them being trained. Um,
I've never seen it.
yeah, but to be honest with you, it looks like it has kind
Gone
of,
down.
yeah, declined,
Yeah.
because nowadays you don't. But then when we were young, you will see a lot of trainee carpenters, at one shop. A lot of them at one shop.
Well,
But
what has happened? I mean, because that's kind of like what Apoku is fighting to bring back with Yesha, is that whole apprenticeship
apprenticeship, yeah, yeah.
focus and trade school
Hmm.
focus.
I don't know if it's our technical schools that has kind of absorb all these trainings now.
Hmm.
It wasn't like it used to be when you go to one shop and you see a lot of youth being trained to be carpenters. Like you say, my cousin is a very good carpenter. I don't think he has an apprentice now.
I've never seen him with an
Yeah.
apprentice, and I've never heard him ask for one.
Mhm.
Even just a guy hanging out with him to help him clean up, which you learn a lot through just observation. But yeah, that's something that I think we should look into. We do know a gentleman. Um, what's Apoku's last name?
Um,
I don't remember, but Apoku is out in Kamasi,
Opoku Jumo.
and he runs an organization called Yesha. It's his goal to get at least 10,000 youth working and applying themselves in a variety of things, everything from room decoration to carpentry and mechanics and putting up gates. He does the whole spiel.
Mhm.
So there is a push for that, and perhaps I'll talk to him and see if there's some sort of smaller vision, some sort of smaller way to make that happen with houses. Because we could just have them build them, and we just go, get a truck and collect them
Collect them.
all at once. And so you have planted a really, really special seed that I think is actually viable. I think it's
Yeah.
possible.
Mhm.
You talked about the reading club. Isaac brought that up. It's interesting what people say and what resonates. So me and you had the same reaction. I like reading clubs as much as I'm anti Facebook groups. I will come and get into a sister circle or a youth group. I don't mind the reading club where we can do round robin and share, or each week a person is responsible for divvying up a chapter or two. Yeah, I like that, and I see when I sit down with them how much they grow with reading. Because at first they have a lot of anxiety about sounding silly and making mistakes and not knowing words, and then they see that I'm easy on them with that. I am so proud of every young reader that sits with me, no matter how well or how poorly they read, because this is a second language. It is a second language, and to master a second language, you are a hero for me, a hero and a shero for me. That's not easy. Um, I know because I'm black, and we know that there were laws against us learning to read and write. And many of us go back home, or we have relatives that don't read and write in English, and they've been in America their whole life. And we have to walk them through applications. We have to navigate them through this brave new world with all these systems because they simply can't read. Even some of them are master memorizers. They've memorized all the street signs and all this stuff, or they've memorized the names of certain food. But if you take them off of the stuff that they know, they actually cannot recognize a lot of verbiage. So I have a heart for the second language learner and the struggling reader for a very personal reason. Yeah. So I think the concept of a reading club, and I would specifically like a reading club that is around boys. I used to do that in the high school, urban high school in the U.S. I think I got a heart for that here. Even though I get a lot of girl energy here, I want to see these boys read because that's what we're losing in the U.S. We're losing boys. Our boys are reading at high school boys are reading at fourth grade level. These are men.
Wow.
These are men driving. Many of them have children, and they're reading at fourth grade. So when their children come, they can't even help them with if they after second grade they can barely help them with homework. Okay, because they cannot read. So reading is a major tool to make it in this world, no matter where you're from. The last thing you talked to us about was Cash App, and the ways that people can donate
Donate. Okay.
and that whole thing. I do have a Cash App. It is Project Uganda. Before there was Ghana, I did work in South Africa and Tanzania and Uganda. And so Cash App only allows you to change your name twice, and I changed it once and then I changed it twice, and so I'm stuck with that name, but it's legitimately me. I don't do a lot of soliciting for funds. I let that come from people's hearts. People have different philosophies about that. I'm very I just get sick of this whole like everybody got this hustle. Well, if you like this station, subscribe. Well, if you want to give, people know when they're saying good stuff.
Yeah.
And when you want to support, yeah, some of this comes out my pocket, but a lot of it is in kind donations to people who've been following me and they like the work and they just decide, you know what? I spend $20, $30 on my nails and hair, and I spent that much at Popeye's Chicken. I'm going to help this sister out. And it's like $1 million to me because it's so genuine and heartfelt, as opposed to me feeling like every week I have to keep asking people to remember to
yes, yeah,
to give.
yeah, support that for now. And I can't believe I discussed a similar your similar question or your suggestion with her the other time. I was like, why can't we have people to kind of donate financially or in any way, so we'll have their name on the mini library, that well, this person or these people donated for this mini library, we are sending it to this school. We come again for another mini library, other people donate, and we have their names on, to really show that at least we are appreciating what others are doing. But like honestly, she finds it very difficult to come online.
I don't find it difficult. I just feel like the money counts, but the encouragement that people give me counts.
Yeah.
The prayers that they send me count. The intercessory. There's a whole bunch of people that support me who never say very much of a word. Well, all of a sudden they'll say, "Girl, I've been following you for the last 3 years. I'm so proud of you." And that thing will come in at just the right moment. So I don't want to leave anyone out, and I don't want the accolades to be centered around finance, because some people, they just got it. They got it. They're going to always get acknowledged. Their name going to always be listed. What about the others? So I leave it. And I just acknowledge that I don't do none of this stuff by myself.
Mm-hmm. And I know now people find it very difficult to donate to this cause, because like what's the name?
Red Cross.
Red Cross incidents in Haiti has really kind of changed people's mind. But
$500 million, $500,000, 5 houses.
I will tell you, I've known her for some years now. When you give her a penny for something and she is struggling or she has to survive on that penny, she would like to use the penny for what you give to her. She would never use that penny on her. For that one,
I have real faith.
Yeah, seriously. And so I really trust her. I really trust her for that, and she's always using the money for what is intended to.
You can tell.
That one. She's always using the money for that. But like I don't know, she has not really seen the kind of vision that I've seen concerning this mini library and
No,
also the
because I
reading
know what it
club.
takes. I've done a
Yeah,
not for profit before. I know what it takes to move
yeah,
it. And Isaac has not put his nails in it deep. Okay. And until I have a partner and people, a team that understand it's not one person that moves an NGO, it is the team. You need a solid set of board members. You need your secretary and your executive director to be as passionate as you. If it's just you, you're already gonna lose. You're gonna lose.
well,
So I don't want the time to run out on us. But
yeah,
in case this cuts off,
oh,
we're thanking you.
yeah.
And we're glad we answered your question.
Honestly, I was enjoying this conversation so much. I never knew the time we've spent this.
I don't mind the time. I just
Yeah.
know sometimes the clock cuts off
So,
on us.
yeah. All right. So thank you so much for your time, Kimberly. We really appreciate your uh, your words of encouragement. We really appreciate
and your questions. You really made us think and talk and dig in. I appreciate that.
All right. So, family, we would like to say, enjoy your day.
And visit us at Wonderland's Naturals. That's the Etsy store.
Yeah.
And that's another way that you can support the work that we're doing. Wonderland's Naturals.
Yeah. And what your cash app name again?
Is Project Uganda.
All right.
Project Uganda.
Thank you very much.